Now brings us into our final segment, which I've been loving to do. This is round 3 of the HotS debate. Ready for that bumper there? Here we go.
True power resides in the dark side of the Force.
No. Quicker, easier, more seductive, perhaps.
This is not a matter of debate.
A debate? This has become.
And a debate this is about to be. So last debate was round 2 of the HotS debate, and I sadly lost to Liqiud. I had to write a poem, a love poem to Murky. You can check out the VODs for that's on our YouTube channel. I'm sure you can probably Google it too. Ode to Murky. Had a little heartfelt poem that I wrote to Murky as a punishment for losing. So Liqiud, as the reigning champion, is going to be taking on our challenger here, Mystic. So the topic for this week, and I'm going to be convening, is it is better to play meta heroes in ranked play over non-meta heroes that you're really good at. So the loser for this is going to write a message on their forehead, and this is a visual thing. We'll try and help out for the audio listeners next week too. They're going to write a message on their forehead of the winner's choice for the next episode, and maybe we'll get a little help from Reddit or Twitter and such too, some suggestions.
I have a lot of space up here.
Liquid's got a nice big canvas to work with there. So you know what, Liqiud, you just lost yourself a lot of votes already. We haven't even started the debate.
Man, why would I do that to myself?
So we've got a straw poll. I'll put it up in the chat. I'll put it up on the show notes, and I'll tweet it out as well. So you can feel free to vote for who you think won tonight's debate after it concludes. So the format for this, the defender starts, so that would be, in this case, Liqiud, because he's saying it's better to play meta heroes. Mystic is the one who's saying it's better to play heroes you're really good at in ranked play. So the defender, Liqiud, will be starting. He's got 2 minutes for an opening statement. Mystic will have 3 minutes to rebut it. The defender, again, Liqiud, will have 1 minute to rebut whatever Mystic says. And then I'm going to ask a question for Mystic. He'll have 1 minute to respond to that. Then I'll ask a question to Liqiud. He's got 1 minute to respond to that. Then we do it again, 2 minutes each for closing statements, starting with Mystic, finishing off with Liqiud. Each participant gets one audible, where they can interrupt the other person mid-argument for a 15-second statement. Okay, so now I've worked up some timers and such, so hopefully these will work with a little bell at the end, but this is the first time I've actually put the timers into the actual debate. Usually we just have a stopwatch and such. So we'll have to see how this goes. So we're going to start with Liqiud the Defender. Liqiud, are you ready to go, sir?
I am, but I don't. Your timer is not.
You'll see the timer pop up as soon as I hit the start button. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready to go, Liqiud?
Yes.
Liqiud is stalling for time. Take note of that when you're taking your votes. Okay, ready?
Oh, come on.
Liqiud, you're on the clock.
Okay, so I do agree that every special Snowflake hero out there probably has their place somewhere in the game that you're playing. Whether it's, playing a hero on a map where they are super strong. For instance, we discussed earlier in chat having a Murky on Blackheart's Bay, or Mystic and I have both been a part of a game where having a Murky on Infernal Shrines before all the buffs to Murky happened worked great. 4 people did one lane, Murky did another lane. It was really annoying. We delayed the game long enough and just won one fight towards the end and won. I don't debate that. But we're talking about if it's better to play meta heroes in ranked play over non-meta heroes that you're really good at. And when you get into ranked play where you could have anybody on your team, those players may not know how to work with your special Snowflake. Maybe they don't know what to do with a Murky. Maybe they don't realize that Murky should be solo and everybody else should be bottom. Do I think they should? Yeah, it would be really nice if they do. I apologize to the Murky lovers out there. I don't hate Murky. I love him. But if you're going to bring a special Snowflake into ranked and you're not on comms with the rest of the team, they need to know how to play with that. And, depending on the rank you're playing at, maybe they do, maybe they don't. And is it really worth possibly throwing the game with the entire team that you're with because you decided your special Snowflake fit there? I mean, I'm not even going into the fact that you get teams that'll rage at you because you picked a special Snowflake instead of a meta pick, automatically tilting 2 to 5 or 2 to 4 of the players and causing you to lose immediately. Like, that stuff happens and should be accounted for. But again, if you'd stuck with your meta pick instead of your Snowflake pick, probably wouldn't run into that problem. And I'm going to go ahead and cede my 10 seconds because those were my opening remarks.
You know what? I want the bell to go off, so I'm going to stall for time for like the last 3 seconds here to make sure it goes. And there it is. Okay, so Mystic, you've got 3 minutes. You're on the clock.
All right, so while I do agree with a lot of what Liquid's saying, yeah, you can find a lot of teammates that will rage at you, but there are times where you can't play any of these meta heroes. Like Liquid said, you don't know really what rank you're at when you're taking your placements or something, right? You don't know if other people can play their heroes as well. So if they pick meta heroes that they don't know how to play, it's kind of like the similar fashion here, where in the lower levels, you can really play whatever you want. Like you can play whatever you want and carry with whatever you want. In the higher levels is where you can make stuff work, but meta heroes are generally better. But so I think you should pick the heroes that you're really good at, because those are the heroes that you're going to be able to carry on. Yeah, maybe the enemy didn't ban Rag and your first pick and everybody on your team's like, oh, you should pick up Rag. What if you don't know how to play Rag? I mean, sure, Rag could be a good pick here, but you don't really know how to play him, so instead you pick, like, let's just say Thrall, because you know that you're really good at Thrall, but you suck at Rag, so you're just gonna, feed really hard if you choose Rag.
Audible.
Okay, I'm pausing the timer. You got 15 seconds. Go.
Thrall's still a meta hero. You can't use a meta hero to use your Snowflake argument. Thrall is solidly in the meta right now. So, yes, Thrall may not be as good as Ragnaros, but Thrall's still a meta pick. You're not Snowflaking at that point.
There you go. Okay, continue, Mystic.
I was going for more of a point if, like, the meta heroes aren't always going to be meta. Like, right now, for example, you could see that Ragnaros is more meta than Thrall. While Thrall is still kind of meta at this point, he's, like, falling off. You don't see as many Thralls anymore. So, you don't have to choose, like, off-meta heroes for your special Snowflake, but meta heroes are generally the ones that people choose just because they're meta, right? But not all meta heroes are going to be meta all the time. So I played Artanis a lot when he wasn't meta, and now he is. And then I've played a lot of Thrall, and he is meta right now, but he's kind of falling out of the meta. And, like I said, or like I mentioned in the past, in this podcast, I was playing Greymane, and he wasn't meta, but he might become meta very soon. So I think you should stick with what you really like to play and what you're really good at, and you can carry the game from that point. And I think that'll be it for me.
Okay. So now we're moving on to Liquid has 1 minute to rebut anything that Mystic said. Ready, Liquid? You are on the clock.
Okay, so I'm going to make 3 points I think I want to make here. The first is, at lower levels, play what you want, play whatever, special Snowflaking is okay. That's a double-edged sword, because I think at the lower levels, that's where you run into the number of players, that a higher number of players that are either going to rage at you for not picking meta, or they're going to not know how to play around your pick. And I think that could seriously damage your team. Higher level typically sticks to the meta, you're absolutely right. But every once in a while, you get that ADRD out there who comes up with these crazy comps, and they work out really well. So I think higher level is probably the safer place for the Snowflake. My opinion, though. I totally understand what you're saying. My biggest problem is play what you can carry on. There are weak heroes out there. Just because you're good at that weak hero doesn't mean that you on your Snowflake can carry on that hero. You may do great numbers for the weakest hero in the game, but that doesn't mean you're going to carry the whole team when the team is made up of more solid meta picks. There's a reason they're meta, and that's because they fit into the current design of the game.
Time's up, Liquid. Nice squeaking in there at the end. Okay, so now I get to ask a question of Mystic, and he'll get 1 minute for a response. So, Mystic, oftentimes I'll be in draft. I've got my special Snowflake characters. I love my Thrall. He's been meta quite a bit recently, but like you said, he's falling off. Now, let's say I'm first picking, and I am going against the grain. My whole team's saying, pick Rag, pick Rag. And I'm like, no, guys, listen, I'm really good at X hero, whatever it happens to be. Do you pick that hero in this case? Because that's your special Snowflake, even though it's potentially going to lead to toxicity and saltiness on with the rest of the team. That's my question. Is saltiness potentially a factor when you're specially snowflaking? Mystic, you're on the clock.
All right, I do believe that toxicity does play a role into the game where your team is just going to flame at you if they start losing. But I mean, that's for you to play around. Like, toxicity is always going to exist, no matter if you're special snowflaking or you're playing meta. If you lose on that Ragnaros, they're going to flame you. If you lose on your special snowflake, they're going to flame you. And then so it's better that you play that special snowflake and show them that they could potentially be wrong than play the meta hero and show that, hey, you're bad at Rag or something like that.
All right. Okay, so now, Liquid, my question for you. The wise Bruce Lee has a quote, and we've mentioned this past on the show. I think this is what brought the topic up in the first place. I'm paraphrasing, so I apologize, Bruce, and I apologize to anyone who wants to correct me, but the gist of this is what is the statement is. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times more than the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks one time. Now, are you telling me that you're disagreeing with Bruce Lee? Liquid, you're on the clock.
I absolutely agree with Bruce Lee. My problem with that statement and how I think that applies here is, let's pretend for a minute that your special snowflake kick is just moving your foot forward a quarter of an inch. And the meta pick is moving your foot forward 4 feet. That quarter of an inch might move quick, and you may be able to get a kill with that quarter of an inch. You may hurt somebody with that quarter of an inch, but that depends on them being right next to you. If they're 4 feet away and you happen to have a kick that's going to hit 4 feet, I'm just saying, like, I'm going to fear the other guy a little bit more. Now, with that said, I think the meat of your question is, does it make more sense to play your special snowflake if that's all you pick and that's all you know how to play really well? Sure. If the only hero you know how to play is a damage Uther, then you should probably pick the damage Uther. But you're going to get flamed and you're going to get raged on for going a DPS Uther build when the team wanted Ragnaros. So play more responsibly.
Okay, final statements. We've got 2 minutes, starting with Mystic. Go.
All right, now addressing Liquid's kick theory here, like if you were to make that kick though, it's not going to be that great of a kick, because even though it is great in theory and people that have practiced it are really good at it, well, I mean, if you don't have a practice, it might not be that great of a kick. At least with your special snowflake hero or special snowflake kick in this instance, you know exactly what you're doing and exactly what you're getting. I'm also gonna go say that practicing your special snowflake for such a long time, you get to learn where it's at, and you can get like really good at it. Whereas if you're practicing like the meta heroes as they crop up, you're gonna get like a mixed experience with this, mixed experience with that. And I mean, that can sometimes be good for learning what they do, but it's not exactly going to help you climb like super fast. I know a lot of people want to climb super fast, and I think practicing your special snowflake is the best for that, because it allows you to elevate your play at a much higher speed than if you're just playing, you know, all the meta heroes all the time. And yeah, that'll be it.
Okay. Liquid, you ready? Take it away here. I think he's furiously typing in a chat. Okay, ready?
I was.
2 minutes. Here we go. You're on the clock.
Okay. So I do agree. If your weak kick that you never practice connects, is it really worth connecting? No. It's a good point, Mystic. But my problem is this. My problem is, if you're going into ranked and you only know the special snowflakes, you probably shouldn't be in ranked. Okay? So the question was specifically, should you play meta in ranked, or should you play your special snowflakes in ranked? There's a place for a special snowflake. 100%, there is always a place for a special snowflake. Whether it's TBU, the Tiny's Angry Uther, or whether it's Morales, Grenade Build Morales, there's always a place for the special snowflake. But if you're coming into ranked, and your team has the perfect comp, if you just go Sonya, or you just go hardcore carry Greymane, and you don't know how to play those those roles, maybe you shouldn't be in ranked right now, right? If you're not familiar with the meta, no matter what level of rank you're playing at, you probably shouldn't be playing it ranked. Go play unranked, go play quick match. Quick match is great for your snowflakes. You load up that character, all you do is click ready, 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 and you go over and over and over, and you have 8,000 games on Grenade Morales, or on Zeratul, or on Nova, or whatever your special snowflake is. But when you go in and you step into ranked, you need to understand the meta. You need to be prepared to play the meta characters, whether that's, you know, you playing the meta characters, or at least understanding enough to say, hey guys, you know what? I really suck at Ragnaros here, but you know what I am good at? I am good at Greymane. I am good at Valera. I am good at these couple of other heroes that, you know, will work in our composition. But most importantly, and I think my biggest thing, is communicate at the beginning of the draft. If you have a special snowflake, let your team know. Maybe they'll draft around that. But if you go into rank just saying, I'm going to play my special snowflake, you lose.
That's time. So great debate, boys. So I'm just going to throw the link into chat. You guys can feel free to vote on who you think won. I've already put it up on Twitter as well. It's a straw poll link. I'll be putting this up on Reddit. We'll be segmenting as part of the show. Hopefully get a lot of votes to see who is going to have to do the punishment next week, which is writing a message on the forehead of the winner's choice. And feel free to put those comments, what you think it should be, that comment that they put on their forehead in Twitter. You can tweet at us. You can send us emails. You can do it on Reddit. You can put it into the chat if you want. Like we said, we got lots of canvases on these guys' foreheads here, so we got to make sure we got something nice to put on there.